Welcome everyone to Demystifying the Technology. My name is Dominic Marino. I'm a solution architect with Storj. We'll start with a title slide here, which just gives you an overview of who we are and what we do. We offer multi-region, S3 compatible object storage. How do we do it? We're going to dive in here and really demystify this for you. The secret sauce is the protocol. The Storj protocol is a protocol that lives underneath the S3 protocol, and it allows us to distribute data across tens of thousands of nodes globally, guaranteeing the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of your data. This is also the secret sauce that gets us incredible parallelized performance. The network is made up of three key elements running this protocol. The nodes are where the data is stored, and again, those are tens of thousands of servers spread across the globe or in the region you wish to have your data present. The application, or applications in this case, is our S3 compatible gateway. This is a globally present gateway using Anycast BGP so that you can use one namespace to get to your data no matter where you are on the globe. And finally, the satellite. The satellite is where the metadata is stored. It does the accounting, and it manages the Storj services. Performance, I alluded to this earlier. Storj is a highly parallelized network, meaning you can do tens of or hundreds of gigabits of throughput. It's optimized for low bandwidth. It finds every path on the internet and utilizes it, and minimizes coordination between endpoints. That is, if a certain ISP, server, or data center that contains some of your data is slow, you'll never see that. We do that with a long tail avoidance, right? So we're going to upload extra pieces. We're going to ask for extra pieces. When you do that, well, you don't need all the pieces. So the slowest pieces never affect your upload or download. Finally, we maximize parallelism. If you're going to move a 1 gig file, well, that's made up of 16 64 meg segments, and you can move that 16x. Distributed buckets. So, we've talked about performance, we've talked about how the protocol works, we've talked about components on the network. Distributed buckets have a key advantage for you. You can upload your data to one bucket, and it is globally present. So if you're working with a client in Japan or the European Union and you're located in Los Angeles, no problem. You share the data in one place and it's performant for everyone. This lowers costs. It lowers costs both on actually storing data once versus putting it in 3, 5, or 7 locations, as well as negating the need to manage that data, negating the need for strong consistency between buckets because there is simply one bucket. And again, as we've noted, it's fast anywhere. Data placement. I've used the word global. I've used everywhere. I've alluded to being able to be regional, but it's very important that we talk about data sovereignty and compliance. We can regionally place your data. If you're only in the United States, there is a small performance benefit to keeping the data only in the United States. If you're in the European Union and you have requirements such as GDPR, we're happy to accommodate those. If you want to keep the data in Germany, well, we can do that compliant regional placement. If you need SOC 2 Type 2 data centers, ISO 27001, or anything else, we have the capability of course, restricting your data, your metadata, and your egress into compliant infrastructure. And finally, if you want to run this within your own infrastructure, we have a deployment called Storj Private Cloud, where we actually will deploy this within your business, within your data center, within your private cloud deployment, truly giving you full control over this infrastructure. This is done by certified node groups. This is our capability of course, tagging nodes by their capability and then applying them on a bucket-by-bucket basis to your account. Durability and availability. Earlier I talked about the CIA triangle: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Well, it's very important that your data is available, or why are we doing this? We have, and this is part of the Storj protocol, multi-region high availability by default. So what that means is we're constantly monitoring to make sure your data is not only performant, but that we do not lose it or compromise it in any way. We run an audit service continually that goes through and looks for signs of corruption, looks for reduced parity on the network. It uses a lot of statistical sampling, and it maintains the reputation of the storage node. For instance, if there is a storage node in a data center that has a hard drive that's going bad, well, we will treat that with additional scrutiny and make sure that we replicate the parity on that drive or protect that drive when there are signs of trouble. The repair service scales, so we can run that during low periods low and high periods high, but trust that that means that if a region goes down or if a data center is having an issue, we can very quickly restore the parity of the network and you never lose access to your data. Finally, I want to talk about an exciting new offering. Now, we've been talking about Storj's global object storage service, a service that can, of course, be limited to the region for which you would like your data. But what we've done is brought a new product, a new software package to market, and that allows you to mount object storage as file. So what Object Mount does is connect to your bucket and present it as a file store on your machine. And what's so spectacular about that is you don't have to download the data to interact with it. You don't have to download the data to do an edit. So let's talk about using DaVinci Resolve. Let's say you're going to pull in 200 gigs of content, and you're going to create a timeline for that. Well, when you do that, it's only going to download less than 1% of the data to get those key frames so that when you scroll through the timeline, it is imperceivable from data that's stored on your machine. Again, saving you time and bandwidth and cost, right? This is a great value play. But then you've done your edit and you've only used 5% of those clips. Well, the beauty of this is that when you do that render and you do that export, the technology, the library that sits between your operating system and your editor, known as Object Mount, is able to only pull those bytes required to do that render. Meaning instead of downloading 200 gigs, you're downloading far less than that. In this case, something like 10 gigs. So Object Mount is a highly optimized file mount that is intelligent and content aware. It does not edit your files, it does not manipulate your files, it does not break up your files. You can look into that bucket and you simply see the same files. It is also POSIX compatible, so you can work in a multi-editing workflow and actually lock files. This is an industry first, POSIX on object. It's as easy as working from your hard drive. I thank you for your time today. Again, I'm Dominic with Storj. Hope you have a wonderful day.